We're off to the movies. DC public school students are dreaming big after a special screening of the film Hidden Figures.
And politics takes a backseat to volleyball on Capitol Hill.
All that plus the top stories from the News Rundown starts now on We Are Washington. Welcome to We Are Washington. Hidden Figures tells the story of three brilliant African-American women working to break barriers at NASA. The movie won critical praise and Oscar nominations, but just as importantly, its impact is being felt among young people right here in Washington, D.C. Coming up, we'll bring you that story.
And for 3 days, volleyball overtook politics as the main sport on Capitol Hill. We'll take you inside the Capitol Hill Volleyball Classic. But before we get to all of that, here's the News Rundown.
After more than a decade in the making, construction on DC United's new stadium is officially underway. Mayor Muriel Bowser, city officials, fans, and players celebrated the groundbreaking on the 20,000-seat capacity Audi Field at Buzzard Point in Southwest Washington.
We're about to get a brand new stadium here in D.C. so D.C. United can be united in D.C. That's a key point that the mayor made. D.C. United is staying right here in our nation's capital, the world's greatest city.
We wanted to make sure we had the best deal for the people of Washington. So when I came anywhere in the community, I could tell them we're investing in a part of our city that needs the investment, that's going to create jobs, that is going to make sure it pays good wages and give the people of Washington, D.C. a better shot at participating in our prosperity.
The $300 million venue is scheduled to open in June 2018. Eastern Market is now a D.C. Main Street.
Mayor Bowser launched the Neighborhood Revitalization Program, designating Eastern Market as the newest Main Street in the district. The initiative is a program of the Department of Small and Local Business Development and seeks to enhance communities by retaining and recruiting businesses, improving commercial properties and streetscapes, and attracting consumers.
What it ends up doing, of course, is introducing this commercial corridor and all these businesses to thousands upon thousands of people, but it really helps create a vision for what that corridor looks like. Well, my expectation is that the Eastern Market Main Street is going to be doing the exact same type of work. How do we help make sure that we're not only advocating for and fighting for all of our small businesses, helping protect them, helping protect our retail businesses so that we always have a strong mix of the type of businesses that we want, but how are we helping lay out a vision?
There are 12 areas designated as main streets in D.C., including 3 that are considered models of
And this particular doctor said, you know, you've got 2 options here. You can choose life or you can choose death. 32 years old, African American, diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, could barely walk. He gave me 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
And I made the decision to do something. And so I started cycling with a friend, and then it became a group of friends. And I just decided to take my life back. At 32, you shouldn't have any of those health issues. Almost 3 years later, here we are.
Do you think there was something different about that particular moment? Did you really feel, you know, a sense of your own mortality at that moment?
I didn't realize that it was that serious, but I felt on the inside as if I was dying because I was on these various medications. I was on Victoza, which is a synthetic insulin. I was taking minocycline, which was a medication for antibiotic for bacterial infections. And it seemed like there were more and more meds that were coming to keep me alive rather than natural things like food and, you know, being outside and getting good sun and drinking water and things of that nature. And in that moment, I said, you know what? This man is right. I'm dying because I'm having to use all of these other things to prolong my life.
So how did you do it?
So it was a combination of quite a few things. I cycled. Dieting was one of the biggest things for me. I worked with a nutritionist, and I actually had to leave everything that I loved alone. So all of the junk food went out the door. And
Not
so
easy.
now, yeah, and it's, I'm more so on a plant-based diet now. I eat some meat, some chicken, fish here and there, not too much fish, but more so, chicken and vegetables and things of that nature. But the exercise is the most important thing in taking your life back. And so I'm still on a weight loss journey.
It was really inspiring to hear Tristan's story about changing his life, wanting to live healthier, and how that's been such a benefit for him. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to jump right on the treadmill.
I
right?
know, I felt so inspired also, especially I loved hearing about how he was inspired by fashion and just the thought of being able to wear all these new great clothes, and I thought, yeah.
That's what you
I like
love?
that.
You
yeah.
like that part of it?
I love the idea of having to get an entire new wardrobe because we've lost so much weight.
I would think of it the other way. Now I have to get all these new clothes. It's a negative, right?
no, not a negative at all.
All right, well, we heard some great stuff from him about how his life has changed. A dietitian who came in and told us some really great tips about heart health, what to be aware of, what to look for, all good stuff. So I think that we should get back to the workout now.
Definitely get back to the workout, but look at you talking and walking like a pro.
Well,
Very impressive.
It takes training. It takes training.
We'll have much more with We Are Washington coming up.
The MPD's mounted police unit is small, but they have a special place in the hearts of residents who never tire of getting the chance to see an officer riding a beautiful horse through their community. And it may surprise you to know that most of the officers don't have experience riding before joining the mounted unit. Here's a look at this beloved MPD tradition.
Well, the Mounted Police Unit originally was the original form of transportation for the Metropolitan Police Department. Many of the police districts that were the original police districts in the city often had barns behind them because that's mainly how they traveled throughout the city. They had dirt roads and everything else for much of the city. And actually it was 1927, I think it was, they got rid of the mounted unit and then they brought it back in 1999. Chief Ramsey decided that a mounted unit would be beneficial. He came from Chicago. Chicago has a very successful mounted unit, so he decided he'd like to bring it back, that it would be very useful in the city. And one of his main functions of bringing it back was during that time in the late 1990s, early 2000s, Chief Ramsey was trying to promote community-oriented policing. And one of the things they found is he was a firm believer that having a mounted unit and having the officers mounted on horseback was a great tool to connect the community and the police department again on a positive note. I can take an officer, I can put him on a corner on foot, and he may have an interaction with 5 citizens or so in a busy neighborhood. If I take that same officer and put him on that same corner on the back of a horse, he will have interaction with up to 100 people in an hour. So it actually draws people out. It draws them too. They come out, they're curious, they ask questions. They want to know more about the horses. In the city environment, you have many people that have never even seen a horse up close. They've seen them on TV, they've seen them at the zoo maybe, they've seen them, but they've never actually been up close and been able to touch one. So, it's a very positive way to draw people into a positive interaction with the police in general.
We're going to go down to the Frederick Douglass home in various parts of Southeast, go to see people around in the neighborhood.
Our main goal for the Metropolitan Police Department Horse-Mounted Unit is patrol. Anything else you would see an officer do on foot, we can do on horseback. The only difference is we can get there a little faster and we don't get tired as quickly. Our secondary mission is always crowd control and civil disturbance. The horses are a very effective tool for that. And it's been said that one horse, especially one horse this size, can do the work of 20 officers at one time.
And I know that Seamus has some special abilities that make him even a bigger celebrity. Can you tell me about that?
Seamus goes to some of the horses. So Seamus goes to some of the community events. And because some of the moves that they actually teach the horse for crowd control and things like that, they can be adapted to other things. So Seamus can actually do the electric slide.
Seamus, who knew?
He'll go out and dance at the community events and do the electric slide. A lot of people believe that in order to get into a unit like this, you have to have some kind of experience or some kind of horse background, or, you really don't. You can come into this unit with zero experience, Because we're primarily a patrol unit, one of the things we're looking for is we're looking for good police officers first. If you're a good police officer, we can make you a horse-mounted officer. We can teach you to ride the horse. We can teach you to take care of the horse. We can teach you all of that, but it's very difficult for me to teach you to be a good officer. In order to get a horse to work in the urban environment like this, where there's a lot of what they would consider scary things, that horse has to trust you. So one of the things you have to do is you have to establish the bond with that horse.
Back up. One more. Back up. One more. Good boy.
Once you've established that bond with the horse, like with Seamus and I, Seamus trusts me completely, so he'll do almost anything I ask him to do because he knows I'm not going to let anything happen to him. So one of the ways we do that is we still do all of our own grooming, we do all of our own care, and that gives, when you're standing here brushing this horse, it's letting him, bond with you and realize that, you are his friend, you are his partner. We retire them at 20 years of age, and as much as I would hate to see him go, in 3 more years, Seamus is going to be leaving us on a mandatory retirement.
Aw, Seamus. Well, we appreciate your service.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. Seamus is ready for a rest.
I want to retire.
I never considered a career in law enforcement, but if I had known that you could hang out with horses and build that relationship and do your job that way, I might have given it a second thought.
It's a great job. No experience with horses necessary. They train the officers to ride.